Hi friends, as always I'm super excited to see you here. If you're meeting for the first time, I'm Shankar Pandey and this is the Dr. USP channel. I host videos on media, communication, statistics and research on this channel. To stay updated with the latest on this channel, I urge you to consider subscribing to the channel. The hierarchy of influences model talks about the impact of various factors on news content. Let's find out media sociology, hierarchy of influences model in journalism. Shoemaker and Reese identified 5 major influences on news content: the individual, routine, organizational, institutional, and ideological. Hierarchy of influences model considers both the micro and macro levels of analysis. It situates the individual in a web of organizational and ideological constraints. Media sociology studies how the mediated symbolic environment gets constructed by individuals within a social, occupational, institutional and cultural context, with special reference to the practice of journalism. Hierarchy of influences examines the forces that work to shape media content. Communication research on one hand deals with an individual or micro level approach. This regards questions of media audiences and effects, and also a macro approach about questions of production and control. Early research in communication was mainly about reinforcement and limited effects theories. A number of newsroom ethnographies emerged in the 1970s. Sociologists outside the field of communication like Herbert Gans, Gay Tuchman, Mark Fishman, Todd Gitlin, Edward Epstein, and Harvey Moloch, among others, worked on the forces influencing media content. Pamela Shoemaker's Building a Theory of News in 1987 first introduced the hierarchy of influences model. It contains 5 levels of influence, as we can see in concentric circles here. This includes individual, routines, organizational, extra media or institutional, and ideological or socio-cultural. At the core of the hierarchy of influences is the individual level characteristics of journalists or communicators. What roles the individuals perceive for themselves influence the content they produce, as does the relative power of the communicator within the organization. Other individual characteristics include personal demographic characteristics, backgrounds and experiences of the communicator, current attitudes, values and beliefs, background factors, roles and experiences associated with the professional context of the communicator. Journalists are also affected by the routine level structures of action embedded in their immediate work environment. These can range from an adherence to news values, etc. Following objectivity as a routine is often described as a strategic ritual. Apart from pack journalism, the inverted pyramid writing style, and using news story frames like horse race coverage for example, there are other routines that facilitate audience interactivity and even optimization of clicks. Routines are often identified through newsroom level studies. The organizational level recognizes that news is produced within entities that have their own policies and economic imperatives. Organizations must balance commercial with professional concerns, reflecting the goals of the ownership. Ultimately, all members of an organization must answer to the owners and top management, who coordinate the entire enterprise. It becomes complex when the media organizations are themselves owned by conglomerates, whose main mission might be selling non-media consumer products or services. Beyond the boundaries of the formal organization lies the extra-media level. It captures the influences of those who are outside the boundaries of media. These included advertising, government, technology, public relations, media watchdog groups, and audiences. The extra media level has been renamed as social institutional level influence. News sources, for example, are an example of social institutional level influence, as they lie outside the organization's boundaries and exert a powerful influence on shaping the message. They may also provide the context within which all other information is evaluated. According to Bourdieu, modern societies, through the interplay of economic and cultural capital as forms of power, develop specialized spheres of action or fields which have their own relative autonomy and power dynamics. There is the journalistic field. However, the boundaries between the journalistic field and others are ever shifting. The most macro level influence was originally termed ideological. In the broad sense, it means ideas in the service of interests. That is, how do all the other levels of influence on media content work together to produce a predictable ideological result? It has been renamed as social systems. Journalism at this level can be regarded as part of an organic socio-cultural whole. It operates within larger, more complex systems. Studies on this level focus on the larger social structure and how it becomes cohesive rather than separately focusing on the operation of its component parts. A levels of analysis perspective can be useful in showing the range of meanings that a concept can take on. The concept of professionalism, for example, has been studied across the levels of hierarchy by Stephen Reese. The same has been done for news gatekeeping too. Thanks for staying along, friends. As always, it was a delight having you here. I'll be back with another video very soon. Till then, have a great time.